So I am training for a triathlon this year, an IRONMAN 70.3 race. And of the three disciplines, swim, bike, and run, I think personally the one that has the most room for improvement is, surprisingly, actually the bike. Now most people would probably say the swim because they never swam before, the run because they're not a runner growing up, but I did both of those things for extended periods of time growing up. And I'll cover that in a later video too. I swam for 10 years when I was younger. I ran all through high school and several marathons after that, so I'm not actually super worried about the swim or the run. The bike, however, is room where I have a lot of improvement for. I actually completed an IRONMAN 70.3 about 5 years ago back in 2021 in Ohio. During that race, I was very undertrained, not prepared at all. I was young and probably stupid enough to complete it, but I had a bike split of 3 hours and 8 minutes, which converts to about an 18 mile per hour average. Now, that's not bad. Some might even say that's pretty good, and it is, but compared to where I wanted to be, where I think I should be as a young competitive athlete, I think I could do a lot more on the bike, and I should have done a lot more on the bike. Now, without getting into specific goals or anything like that in this video, I just know that I have a lot of work to do on the bike, and thankfully plenty of time to do it. So there's a couple of main things that I'm doing to increase my fitness on the bike as quickly as possible and get me ready for the race in June. One of those things I'm going to show you today, this evening. I'm completing a sweet spot kind of threshold style workout. Now this is actually a great workout for my current phase right now. I'm trying to build my aerobic endurance, my muscular endurance over long periods of time. Basically, before the race, I'm trying to be able to push high power for extended periods of time with little fatigue, because it is a long race. And the sweet spot workout is actually perfect for that. So the goal of a sweet spot or even a threshold workout is to increase the power that you can put out below your lactate threshold. Your lactate threshold is a point where you're producing so much lactate and your body cannot clear it fast enough and you build up fatigue in your muscles. That's how you get that burning sensation. There's a whole science behind it. I can do a video on that in the future, but just know that it's when you get to the point of physical effort where your body can no longer deal with the byproducts of exerting your muscles. Now the goal of, again, sweet spot workouts is to raise that lactate threshold so you can push higher amounts of power and your body will be able to deal with the byproducts and you'll be more efficient and less fatigued and you'll be able to hold that power for longer. The end goal is you'll be able to hold higher power, longer periods of time, and go faster. So again, threshold, sweet spot, whatever you want to call it, that's what we're going to be doing today and for the next couple weeks, couple months even, mainly threshold work with the goal of increasing our functional threshold power, our FTP, and getting our fitness up. So I'm about to get started on the workout for today. I'll tell you all about it after we're done, but I'm going to hop on the bike for about an hour and I'll catch up with you right after. Alright, so we just finished the workout and now I'll tell you what it was. So the idea was sweet spot threshold intervals. So 70 minutes total. We did 15-minute warm-up, which is ramp up from 80 watts to like 150. And then we did 2 intervals. So we did 2 by 20-minute intervals. So 20 minutes on and then 5 minutes easy twice. The pace for the intervals, or pace power, was 90% of FTP. So if you watched the last video, my FTP test was 185, so that put me at about 165 for 2 by 20 minute segments. And overall, they actually felt really good. I think 90% of FTP is probably about right, if not a little under what it should be for intervals like this. Now, mind you, I did take an FTP test as my first workout of the block, and so there's a little bit of just getting back into cycling that is to be expected there, so the power numbers might be a little bit lower initially. But 165 watts for 2 by 20 minutes. I think I kept my heart rate below 150 for those intervals, which was also really good. That's right around that zone 2 area, bordering on zone 3. So, even I know the power could go a little higher. The duration could go a little higher just based on the effort and how it felt for my heart. So heart rate, aerobic, everything, that felt really good. Legs, still getting back into it a little bit, so the legs definitely did get a good workout on the bike. But overall, pretty solid day and achieved the purpose of the sweet spot workout. Now, one other thing I am also doing to kind of keep up with this cycling fitness gains is I like to do strength work every single day, but especially on workout days like this, I'll do some weighted lunges, squats, iso lunges, all sorts of things to keep my legs strong off the bike so I can be even stronger on the bike. So that's what I'm going to do this evening, and then the next time I'll catch up with you this weekend. We're going to go through a long ride. We got 2 hours on the schedule, so it's going to be a great time. So the other main part of cycling training that I'm doing every single week is tomorrow, Saturday morning, I'm going to be doing a long ride. And the long ride, I try to do one every single week, similar to running. If you've seen my previous videos, every week you do a longer event in the span of 2, in the case of cycling, up to 4 hours towards the end of my training block. Now this is usually just a lower intensity, so the zone 2 you always hear about, lower intensity ride for, again, 2 to 4 hours to kind of build up your aerobic base. Include intervals into your long runs and your long rides if you're to that point. I'm not to that point yet with cycling. I'm still just building my aerobic base for this first 4 weeks at least. So I'm not doing any intervals yet. So tomorrow is just going to be a 2-hour base building zone 2 ride, and I'll show you all of that when we get there. There's a lot that goes on during like a longer zone 2 ride, and there's a lot of different reasons you can do it, but there's a couple of main effects and reasons that people do long rides like this. So the first reason obviously is your aerobic base. It increases your aerobic endurance, it increases your ability to cycle and perform for longer at a lower heart rate, more efficiently. It builds up mitochondrial density in your blood. It just allows your muscles to be more efficient over long periods of time. So that's why we do low intensity, longer events, because you're not putting too much strain on your muscles in terms of strength and power, but it's more the muscular and aerobic endurance that builds up over time. Now in terms of cycling, and especially for an event like a half Ironman, even an Ironman, longer triathlons, there's also another part of these long rides, and people often use them to practice what they're going to do on race day. So there's a lot that happens on race day that you might not necessarily think that you have to practice, but when you do, the long ride, and you'll see why, is kind of the perfect place to practice all these things. So one thing is nutrition. So right here I have 2 bottles. These are 24-ounce bottles. So during the race I'm planning on having 3 bottles, but for right now I'm doing a 2-hour ride. So I have 2 bottles, and in these bottles I'm going to have 30 grams of carbs in each bottle for a total of 60 grams, so 30 grams per hour. Towards the end of my training block, I want to try and push this up to 60, maybe even 70 grams per hour. Some people are doing like 120 these days, but for a half Ironman, I think 60 should be about fine. But right now, for the 2-hour ride, I'm having 2 bottles, 30 grams apiece for 120 grams, 60 grams total. Because we're not just training our legs, our lungs, our heart, and our body, we're also training our gut, our stomach. It takes time to get used to consuming a certain amount of carbs while you're exercising. Your stomach can't just start doing that on race day and handle it. So right now we are using, can't see the logo, but Tailwind Endurance Formula in the berry flavor. There is 50 servings in this container. Per serving it's 100 calories, 25 grams of carbs, and 300 milligrams of sodium. So I'm going to take 3 scoops of Tailwind, which is 75 grams total, split it between the 2 bottles, so that puts us at 35 to 37 grams per bottle. So more than 30, but less than 60 per hour. So about 37 grams of carbs per hour. And again, this is just like, not that I necessarily need that much carbs to cycle for 2 hours, but it's good to train your gut on what you're going to use on race days so that when you get there, you have no problems. Beyond that, we can also practice our position, so I'll be spending an extended amount of time in the aero bars during these long rides because that's what I'm going to be doing during the race, and practice the fueling, so grabbing the bottles, drinking from the bottles, all of these small things that you don't really think that you need to practice, you're going to have to do during the race. So the long ride is a great extended time period where you can practice these things. So that's one of the other reasons why I love doing a long ride every single weekend. But that's the main benefit. That's what we're going to be doing tomorrow. We got 2 hours and then a 20-minute brick run afterwards. It's kind of the final piece of the puzzle when we're talking about race preparation and practicing these things in advance. The brick run, when you get off the bike in a race, you've just biked for 2.5, 3, 4 hours, and then you have to go run a half marathon at race pace. And if you just do that on race day and you've never practiced it, it's going to suck. I've tried that, I've done it before, it's horrible. So what we do is we take our 2-hour long ride, we immediately get off, put on our running shoes, go run for 20 minutes. Your legs will feel heavy, but you get used to it. The brick run, practicing for racing. So that's all said and done. Tomorrow we have a 2-hour ride with a 20-minute break. I'm going to get my nutrition ready the night before, everything laid out so I'm ready in the morning, and I will see you afterwards.
We got a ride, we got the night. I got the bottle, you got the light. We got the stars, we got audio. We're gonna fly, we're getting high. You got the moon dust, I got the sky. We got the stars, we got audio. Make the bum bum beat, I'll give you melody. Make the bum bum beat, I'll give you melody. Make the song so sweet, you gon' come on with me. Make the bum bum beat, I'll give you melody. Make the bum bum beat, I'll give you melody. Make the song so sweet, you gon' come on with me.
So let's talk about this long ride that I just completed. I actually completed it yesterday. I just finished a swim today, so I didn't have time to really go through it directly after the fact, but let's talk about it now. So as stated, 2 hours. It was Zwift distance, 38.2 miles. We know to take that with a bunch of grains of salt because Zwift is optimized a bunch of things to make your distance look good, but 2 hours, 38.2 miles, just over 1,000 feet of elevation gain and 841 calories. So a solid ride, pretty steady zone 1, zone 2 long ride. Looking at some heart rate data, my heart rate average was 138, which is smack in the middle, kind of the lower half of my zone 2, which is perfect. It was a little bit elevated compared to the previous workouts in the week, but that's to be expected when you're getting further and further into a training program. A couple weeks in, you're not fresh anymore, so your heart rate stays up a little bit, but still in that zone 2, which is perfect. Cadence, let's see if it says average of 81. That's probably fine. I don't have any worries about it, but power, this is a big one. So FTP is 185, and usually for zone 2 ride, you want to stay 60 to 70% of your FTP. So that puts me at, I don't know, 115 to 135, and I was 121 watts average. So again, perfect, right on the lower end of that zone 2, exactly where I wanted to be for this long ride. Nutrition, had no problems with nutrition. I got both the bottles down fine within the 2 hours. Stomach had no problems. And then also with the brick run afterwards, I did almost all of the brick run. It was like 17 minutes or something. It was freezing cold outside, and my knee's been bothering me a little bit, so I cut it like a couple minutes short, but the brick run felt fine for what it was. So 2 hour long ride, 20-minute brick run, pretty good. It was just steady, nothing special about it. But that was the long ride. Earlier this week we did a threshold session on the bike. I showed you that, and that's going to kind of be the pattern for the next, what is it now, 20, 21 weeks, something like that. So we're going to have 1, maybe 2 workouts during the week, a threshold, maybe a little bit of VO2 max in there, and then a long ride on the weekend, and then we're going to start building in some intervals towards the end. But that's the pattern, and those are the most important bike sessions of our week moving forward. Our other bike sessions during the week, of course, we have easy rides, things like that, but the most important sessions are your workouts specifically for this distance, your threshold workouts, and your long rides specifically with intervals later in the season. So that's going to be our bread and butter moving forward for the next 20 something weeks. That's going to be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed seeing threshold workout, a bit of a long ride, all the bike stuff so far. I'm planning on doing a video in the near future about goals, aspirations, and plans for training and completing this Ironman 70.3, so be on the lookout for that. But that is all for today.